one of those Detroit institutions that you don't want to see fail. I grew up eating Miller's burgers. Um, I grew up south of Detroit there and downriver. You made your way over the Millers, got a couple burgers. I think they came out wrapped in like napkins or just a wax paper, like the old school burgers. Like downriver, I think there's a place called Watkins. I don't know if that's even around anymore. If you're out in Birmingham, you can get what is that? Hunter House, and then there's out by Farmington, you got Greens, and then is it Telway or some shit. Like there's places that still get those old school kind of greasy burgers. They just throw them in the wax paper. I think we ate Watkins a lot growing up. Um, but yeah, Miller's was that institution where you went and got a really great burger. Problem is, we ran down there. I ran down there with a buddy a few years ago, and I remember that we didn't. I don't think we even got side dishes. We just double fisted burgers. Like we each got two cheeseburgers. We got through the first one, and we were like, that was good, but it's not what I remember. Um, and we drove a good 45 minutes from where we're at. We drove 45 minutes to get a burger. That's the kind of two fat forks that we are. Yeah, we drove like at least 45 minutes, maybe an hour with traffic. And then you left kind of feeling a little bit disappointed. It was good. It was on the expensive side, but I'm not one to really complain about food prices too much. If I like food, I'll pay any money for it. I'm a foodie. But it just wasn't what you remembered it to be. Service was off, and depending on who you had there, they've been hit or miss over the years. When I say years, over the decades of, kind of being rude, and I never really enjoyed that vibe. Sometimes you got a really nice server, and that was all and well. I think other times people complained about the owners. I don't even know if it's changed owners over the decades or what, but it's one of those spots that was weird because it had such a great reputation, and then I felt like the food quality went down, and a lot of people complained about the prices. I mean, it is what it is. Go eat somewhere else. Go to Rallies and get two big Bufords or some shit if you don't like the prices. But it's one of those things like do they still do cash only? I don't even know. It's that like cash only vibe, and you start kind of just you get this like level of arrogance that I think a lot of people didn't like about the place. You had those loyal fans that would go there no matter what, but you kind of had this. You couldn't get any side, like not side items, but like toppings. If you asked for toppings, they were some depending on who you asked, they'd be assholes about it. And then the cash only thing, and there was just things that were off putting depending on who you dealt with at Miller's. And it's like, well, I don't like that. When the food's expensive, I'm expecting the atmosphere to be nice. I'm expecting service to at least be great. There's a lot of reasons why I can justify the price beyond the food. And it was just hit or miss. And when you talk to people that went there often, people that I knew that went there often started going less and less and less. Now COVID hit, and I'm sure that made it even tougher. But it's just one of those things that I feel like maybe the brand didn't shift with the times. To be honest, I hate the cash only shit. In a world where you can Apple Pay stuff, 20 million different credit card options. It's like this arrogance that we're so cool or so awesome or we're so unique that we can only do the cash only. There's something I've always disliked about that. It's saying we're so special, cash only, F you. That's how busy we are. Do you ever think about the convenience of the customer? I'm a very customer driven person. I'm all about customer experience. That's not a good customer experience. So I did find that frustrating. Did the food change over the years, or did the quality go down? I don't know. Maybe someone can drop a comment and verify that or leave their experience, but I don't care about prices when the service is on point. But that wasn't there. A lot of things. So they're selling this thing for like $4 million is what I read down here somewhere. And that comes with some other stuff such as the $4 million asking price includes a 2,500 square foot bar, a 50-person banquet area, and a liquor license. So, that liquor license is worth money. They're on a major road and down there in Dearborn. That spot's worth quite a bit of money. So, the whole business, the building, the liquor license, plus the rental income from the upstairs apartments and an adjacent salon. Um, Look, let's just say that the building, you know, $2.5, $3 million with the property with the business, and then you add on the rental income, and it's hard to split that up. Let's just say they're doing, I don't know, 2 million a year, which is a lot of cash. I think a McDonald's on average does like 2.5 million or something like that. Don't quote me on that. Chick-fil-A does like 4.5 or 5 million. Let's just say big forking number here. They do $2 million a year and at 20% profit. That's a fairly common food industry profit target. You're making $400,000 a year on this. If they're doing $1 million a year, you're making 200 grand to run a very busy but small bar, and then you add in the rental income and all that stuff, and you'd have to, is it worth the $4 million investment at that point? You got to run the math on that, right? It's I don't know. I'm trying to run the numbers in my head. It just depends. Are you doing a million? Are you doing 1.5 million? Are you doing 2 million? Are you doing 2.5 million? Like how much revenue are you doing for that to make sense? Can you manage a 20% margin? Your food prices are already really high, so is that because why? Do you got a lot of debt? You had to keep the food prices high. Are the you try to keep labor under 30%. You try to keep your food costs under 30%. That's kind of the little magic numbers of the hospitality industry when you're doing a restaurant, right? It's less than 60% food and labor, and then you got everything else, and then you try to shoot for that 20-25% profit margin if you're lucky. Maybe they're crushing it. Maybe they're charging high prices because the demand. They could just raise their prices and the restaurant would be busy all day. So maybe their profit margin is 25-30%. Who knows? You'd have to see the books and figure that out. But it seems like if you go read some reviews, it's not 3.5 on Yelp. Yelp people can be haters at times. There's some good people. There's some bad people. It's just one of those things that if someone came in, brought in a modern POS system where it's easier to pay and credit cards, and made the customer service more friendly. If you just revamped and maybe modernized the business a little bit, could you bring this thing back into style and then really start making some money? I hate saying that's it's a turnaround because it sounds like it's probably still doing okay, but I always look at something that's like, well, if you ran this from a real business operator's perspective, could you add 25-30% more revenue just by making some fundamental changes and modernizing? You see, a lot of these old school businesses have been around, these restaurants especially, have been around 30-40 years, and they don't realize tastes have changed. And a lot of these people lived on the baby boomer era, right? Where it's they used to come in here and probably chain smoke cigarettes and kill double cheeseburgers and do shots of Jack Daniels. Market's changed a little bit. It's people still like the greasy burgers, but they have a little bit higher expectations. So it's one of those things. Could you come in and just fundamentally change a few things? Could you add a couple cocktails? Could you bring in take Visa and MasterCard, American Express? I mean, you don't got to get crazy and take Bitcoin, but could someone just lay down a credit card? Maybe they're already doing that. I don't know. When I remember, I thought they were doing cash only. Could you revamp the online ordering system? Could you focus more on the carry-out business, considering that what's going on with COVID? It says they got a 50-seat banquet area. Do you just make the kitchen bigger and put a carry-out window out back? And can you really double the volume? There's a lot of things I think if I got a hold of this business that I would do. I would still want to kind of keep the old, authentic feel of the joint. I like, the windowless, dark bar that's how you grew up downriver. Those are the places you went to get, you went and got shit-faced. That's where you went and got hammered with your friends in the windowless bar. That's it. Ate some greasy pizza. I still kind of want to keep that vibe, but could you just make sure the food quality stays up, that the food consistency stays up? Give people some of the things that they're looking for in a restaurant in this day and age. I don't think it's got to look like a Five Guys, or it's got to be some hipster joint where they're selling you fried bologna sandwiches on a waffle for $27. Still some greasy ass burgers, in wax paper. add some toppings, add some cocktails. It could have that dive bar vibe with like a little bit of elevated food. And when I say elevated, I'm not saying some fucking culinary art here. Um, I'm just trying to say make it a little more appealing to the generations that are coming up. It's like, they call it an ambidextrous organization. Can you do things the old way and the new way at the same damn time? That's what I would do with this business, anyways. Can you get the burger back to its original glory, and then kind of fix all the things that people are kind of complaining about over the years? Um, that's what I would do if I took over this joint. To be honest, I'm invested in the hospitality industry. If I'm spending $4 million right now, there's a lot of other things I would go focus on. There's a couple restaurant startups, that concepts I'm working on. There's other places I'm invested in. I don't think I'm sure it's a great investment if you want to be that bar owner, if you want a Detroit institution, if you want to come in and modernize and flip it. It's probably going to make some money, right? There's just other things that I think that I could do with $4 million. Um, there's probably a handful of other restaurants I could open up and end up with 4 or 5 locations, and then you look at the amount of revenue they would do, and then you look at the profit margin. I would just get a greater investment on my money. So then who knows? I don't know how much their rentals are bringing in. I don't know what they get from the salon, what kind of appreciation you would get on that building, considering where it's at on a major road down there. So maybe they're crushing it. Maybe they're doing like $3.5-4 million a year, and I don't know. I mean, that would change my thoughts maybe. But whoever does buy it, if you're listening, there's opportunity here. If you don't come in and destroy the place, like don't try to like gut it and revamp it and make it some new. Just don't do that. Keep that original vibe. Just fix all the little things that would make it a better operating restaurant that's a little more modern. I look for what you charge for burgers and fries and shit. If you did some kind of like custom cocktails that went with it, like if you're gonna spend 25-30 bucks for a couple cheeseburgers and fries, could you ding people for 13 to 18 bucks for a mixologist type cocktail? Hell yeah, all day long, right? There's a lot of things you could probably do to up that revenue, where you give them that greasy dive bar burger with the elevated cocktail. I made a joke in another series I do where you call it a high-low, where there's times I've had a $50 or $100 bottle of wine, and I was probably eating like fucking White Castles. You can get people to come in there and buy a greasy ass ground round griddle burger, and then serve them an $18 cocktail that's twice the price of the burger. It's give them a high low all day. People will pay for that shit. It's that's just how it goes. But anyways, I hope it doesn't go out of business. It's definitely one of those places that's a Detroit institution, and a place that I remember from my childhood, and even a place that I would drive 45 minutes to go get a burger from. I just don't. I've not gone back because the last time this wasn't that great. If I recall, the service wasn't that great. Things were really slow, and the burger just didn't taste like it used to. There's opportunity here to bring it back. My second, I've not been there in a while either. There's another joint in Utica called Shamrock. That was up there too, in terms of my favorite burger. And I'm actually I'll go back there in the next few weeks, I'm guessing, and I'm gonna go try a Shamrock burger to see if it's as good as it used to be. Like my burgers, there's a lot of these new places popping up, the Smash Burger and the Five Guys. That shit just don't do it for me. That Smash Burger, my favorite thing from there was a chicken sandwich on a pretzel bun. It wasn't even a goddamn burger. Five Guys is okay, and just never made me go wow. And in Detroit, we've had a lot of great burger joints that I'd rather go to, and that Shamrock, or even if Miller's brought back the original burger, whatever that was, I'd rather have those on any day of the week over Five Guys or Smash Burger or these other new chain joints. But anyways, that's all I got on this one. If you're a Miller's fan, if you're not a Miller's fan, drop a comment below. I'd be curious to hear from you. Until then, I'm going to catch you on the next one.